Hello and welcome to the Sideescape Gaming Podcast, episode 78. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and joined, as always, by James St. Charles, our forever third chair, the rotating guest, the guy we bring in to hear his opinions, Ted Libby.
We have a
Yeah, I feel like that's me.
We have
And-
a rotated chair.
Ted, know your place, okay?
Okay.
Jesus. James, can you believe this?
Says the
I
guy
can't
who
believe this.
lowered a desk to himself.
Just get a better shot.
Yeah.
And
for all the audio listeners out there.
it is my great pleasure, because we are talking about a game where you drive things, to introduce Gunner Gualco. Gunner, how are you doing?
You know, not bad.
Good.
Enjoying life.
Are you excited?
I am pretty excited.
This is
I've
like what
done
you live for.
nothing- Oh yeah, I've done nothing for the past couple days except play Forza. So
I'm very
that's what I'm
excited
here
to talk
for.
to you about it.
Just to report.
Great. And I'm really excited because I got your name right. And I really stressed about your last name because I don't think I've ever actually said your last name out loud.
Is that why you had to have Maddie there? You had to ask her.
No, I didn't. I sounded it out and I was like, Gualco sounds right. We'll go there.
It's correct.
Close enough. Yeah.
And I nailed it.
Did you see my edit on the list at all?
The biggest Four-Zone fan, you know?
you put
Frozone fan.
you put Froza, and then I went in and put Frozone.
Frozone.
Great
character.
Frozone.
My favorite racing game.
Best
Frozone.
supporting character.
Oh
in
man,
that
a
movie.
Frozone racing game would be amazing. All right,
It'd be pretty cool, actually. I'd play that game.
wasn't there an Incredibles game like for the GameCube? That's pretty good, right?
I'm
Probably.
sure there was. I'm gonna say no. I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark and say no. It was not.
I
A good
swear there
game.
was, and it was good.
I'm sure it
Yeah.
wasn't. But enough about that, because this is the 78th episode of the Sideescape Gaming Podcast, where every Monday morning a new episode goes live on YouTube.com, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Maybe. If you like the show, please like, subscribe, share, do all of that stuff. Because once a week we sit down and we Discord over 500 miles, talk about a video game related topic and what games we are playing. Today, we're talking about Forza Horizon 5. Now,
Forza Horizon Zero Dawn.
I almost said something like that. I almost said Horizon Forbidden West. Gunnar, before we start, I want to know your history with Forza and why we brought you here.
Okay.
'Kay.
So I've been playing Forza since like the 360 era. We talked about earlier. I actually never had an original Xbox. I just repaired one yesterday, and it's my first original Xbox. So I didn't play Forza on that. Forza Motorsport 2 was what came out on the 360, and
Okay.
I played it until I ruined the disc.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't ruin the disc by playing it too much.
Yeah,
I learned
that was not hard.
It
back
was
then.
spinning so hard. And
the 360 guys will know this. I didn't know that well, this is a general computer thing. If you move the 360 from vertical to horizontal while it's
Yeah,
running, it
yeah.
totally
oh,
destroys
that
the disc.
happened to me.
So
so
I
many
destroyed
times.
a disc, and I was like, of course it was Forza. And yeah, I even had a custom. You remember those faceplates they had for the
course.
Xbox 360?
Yeah.
I have a Forza Motorsport one on my original Xbox. So
That's awesome.
Those were fun.
then I played Forza Motorsport 3, which was okay. I didn't have as much fun with it. I think it was just the UI design was kind of weird, made it feel like Apple's 2007. It wasn't right.
Okay.
And then I didn't play anything again until Forza Horizon 3 came to the PC because I didn't have an Xbox One.
Mhm.
And my buddy was like, "Oh, you should look at this game. You should try it." And I looked at this game. I'm like, "Shit, I'm gonna like this, am I?" And so I bought it, and I literally haven't put the game down since. So it's just been yeah, that's the history.
Roughly
When we
how
started
many...
playing Forza games, people bought Microsoft products. That's crazy.
I know, right? We're not in that time anymore.
I mean, what's the difference between Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon?
So Motorsport is their I guess to put it into an easier perspective, you would compare Forza Motorsport more to like Gran Turismo, where it's like pretty much only on the track.
Mhm.
Not a lot of you can do cosmetics,
Open.
but it's not the main thing. And there's no open. Whereas Horizon, it's like totally open world, more like
Freedom. Okay,
yeah, like Need for Speed maybe.
like an arcade kind of style. And...
Yeah, it's like an
Gotcha.
arcade sim sort of game.
So is
um,
Motorsport more like Gran Turismo kind of style?
Yes,
Okay.
its direct
Mm.
competitor would definitely be Gran Turismo.
Gotcha. Okay.
Gotcha.
That's fair.
And
then I want to
yeah.
ask one more question. Forza Horizon 4. How many hours conservatively do you think you have in that game?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Okay.
The Xbox app only measures in days for whatever reason that is.
How many days?
How many days?
I think it said like 30 or 40 days.
Holy
Which-
shit.
So, I mean,
The math on that, right?
you can do the math on that.
That's a lot of
Yeah,
days.
100
Like,
hours. 900 hours.
Wow. Fantastic.
Which,
So we
I
got the
mean,
bright guy here.
Yes.
I feel like I've put more hours into other games, but it's a lot of hours.
It's a lot of hours.
Yeah, I had like 500 days on Call of Duty 4. I'll have you know.
Holy shit.
That I'm not even surprised about.
I was probably pretty high up there on that game as well. Okay. So we're going to talk Horizon. No, Forza Horizon. I'm going to do it a lot today. Forza Horizon 5. Ted, you have not played any of this game.
0. I've never played a Forza Horizon.
Wow. That was my next question.
I've played a
This was-
Forza Motorsport.
This was my first Forza Horizon, so I've never played one either.
And I played about 3 hours of Forza 4 with Gunner one evening back like 3 years ago, and that was it. And then I've
I
played.
don't think you liked it.
No.
I think I watched Gunner play like a BR Forza mode.
Mhm.
And that
Oh,
was,
I don't like
Yeah,
their
I guess-
VR.
that was hilarious.
Now that you mention it, I guess I've played the introduction to Forza 4 when I first got the Xbox Series X just
Okay.
to test out what it looked like, but I don't think I ever picked a car and made a choice in that game. It was just a like cinematic, like
And
fly
cinematic
through the
intro.
seasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Are
right.
seasons back? That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
most pressing question. Okay.
Seasons are
It's
back.
kind of interesting that you mentioned that, and I remember in our chat in this somewhere it says something Fast and the Furious, because the intro to Forza Horizon 5 is actually cars coming out of planes, which
Yes,
I'm
it
pretty
is.
sure they had in a Fast and the Furious.
They
game.
did Furious 7. Okay, let's just dive into Forza, and I think it's great that we've got some people that have played a lot, obviously, someone that has not played any, and two schmucks that have kind of tried it out, James and I. So we're gonna go through just everybody overall impressions of what you think of Forza, and then we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of putting the pedal to the metal. Gunner, we're gonna start with you. You've played conservatively 900 hours of Forza Horizon 4. How is its sequel, Forza Horizon 5? Broad strokes.
Broad strokes. Okay. This is easily the best one that they've made. No doubt. They do a really good job of checking every single box and making sure that even if you're remotely interested, or like if you're really hardcore into it, this series like really has a broad net that they can get people to enjoy it. It's just like an ease of access thing. It's easy, but you can also I can bump my tire pressure up by 0.5 psi if I feel like it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So or like Jake and I did online, which we'll talk about later, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
You can literally just press automatic upgrade, and that's it. And yeah, I think that's the really big appeal to it, is that anybody could really pick it up and play it. They even have like a tourist mode that pretty much drives for you, and you like watch the screen, and like it makes all the turns and slows down and everything.
Huh.
I think if I'm gonna do another big broad stroke, it's the map. The map is easily the biggest thing in the game. It's huge.
Gameplay takes place in Mexico.
Yes, it takes place in Mexico. When you drop out of the plane and you get your first car, you drop out. For me, it felt like home a little bit. In more ways than one. One, because I have almost 1,000 hours in Forza, but two, like we're all Californians.
Yeah.
Jake, you're probably physically the closest to this where this takes place, but there's actually like 11 different biomes in the game. So like there's like the Baja area. There's like the other side of the country. There's like a jungle, and then there's even a part of it like in the north of Mexico that's really reminiscent of like NorCal. So I drove through that. I'm like, wow, this feels like driving through like somewhere in like Eureka
Sacramento.
or like it's beautiful Sacramento. Yeah. So that's kind of the feel, and so the map is something I think they just did an excellent job on. You asked for an impression, and that's easily the biggest impression. Is you look at this map, you're like, holy shit, this game's huge.
Yes.
So that is my like very broad first impression.
No, it's perfect. James, the few hours that you played, the 4 hours, whatever you think, what did you think of Forza? Are you going to go back to it? Kind of stuff like that.
I definitely want to go back to it. You know, I think Halo Infinite came out at a like pretty crux time.
Weird for them to do that though, right after Forza came out.
Yeah, because I was about to like kind of deep dive into Forza,
Yeah.
and then Halo Infinite comes out, and it's like, okay,
well,
now I don't
Forza.
really want to play Forza. So sucks for that. But
Yeah.
when I first started playing it, wow, like I mean, I feel like we need to talk about it, which is the opening is unbelievable.
Yeah, Ted, you got to play the first 20 minutes of this game. It's James, I think I texted you and I was like, tell me what you think of the intro, because I played it and I had the biggest smile on my face. I was like, wow.
It's just it was smooth, exhilarating, beautiful. Like this game is
fun.
Great, and it was like optimized right out of the box. I just hit play and went for it, and didn't even like. I was like, the game's gonna play. I'm gonna like just drive.
Yeah.
And wow, and then going to like objectives, like I never played Forza, so it was. I kind of like got the gist of like, okay, here, go here and do this race or do this task.
I was gonna ask,
that's fun.
What is the gist of an open world racing game nowadays? Are there just quests, races on a map, and you drive to those points and then hit go and do an event, and then you're back in the world? Is that the loop here?
That's
basically
pretty much it. Yeah.
It kind of reminded me like GTA style, like when GTA has like the overworld and you'd go and like do an event,
drive
or, like,
your mission.
drive to a mission, and
it's just
similar
the mission
to that.
Is more driving.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think one of the best features, which I don't know existed in 4 because I never played 4, but the rewind feature is a lifesaver.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
it's smooth.
Yeah.
It's got a really
It's a
nice
good
rewind
feature.
feature that just like you can do it online, but
Yeah.
what you can do, and it just feels really nice when you're racing. It's like computers are like, I fucked up. Okay, cool, I'm back here. Like it doesn't have to ruin the whole race just because I missed a turn.
I tried like a jump, but I flipped my car. Rewind.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And it's seamless.
They've had that. I know it's a great feature, but I think they've had it since Forza Motorsport 3 or 4. It's been like a really like one of those defining Forza features is the rewind.
Cool.
Yeah, the rewind is great.
It's been around for a really long time.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how many people who have Game Pass and just this is going to be their first Forza game, because it broke a lot of records in terms of like the player base and who's got it. And I don't know the numbers off my hand, but I know it's big. I know it's like the biggest launch they've ever had.
Last week when we recorded the show, which was like 3 days after Forza came out, something like that. It had hit 4 million players already.
Holy.
So, and Game Pass is a huge part of that. Are we all playing it on Game Pass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm playing Game Pass.
Yeah, me too.
The Game Pass version didn't. I think the premium whatever pay extra versions came out on Friday, but the Game Pass didn't launch until I think that Tuesday.
Oh, so it was a day after
you could pay. Yeah, you could pay to play earlier, right?
Yeah.
But
I did not do that.
Hell yeah, you can. Oh,
it's the American way.
Yeah.
So I played about like 6 hours, I think, throughout the weekend, mostly by myself. But I'd say the last like 2 hours, you and I played to unlock the DeLorean. Which you know what? Thank you for that, Gunner.
Okay, I have a silly question, but
yeah,
it's important. When you say you guys played together, does that mean you two both were just cars on a map together, or was this like you guys were in a lobby and then you joined a thing and then went back to a lobby?
So,
how immersive is the multiplayer here?
I will say, if it's Jake can probably comment on this a little bit. If it worked as well as it looked like it would have worked, it would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
And it previously has. I think it's just they're coping with the load and the new game and everything. Because previously I'd never had a problem with it. But what happens is when you get in, actually it's very similar to GTA minus the like 10 minutes of loading. You pop in, you're in your own lobby. You have other people, driving around doing whatever. And if you want to join on somebody, you join their like convoy. And so you're like in like a squad. You know how
in the
GTA,
open world.
you're in the squad and it puts you two in the same server.
Yeah.
And then you like do stuff together and do whatever you want. So in theory, that's how it works. But we had some other issues with it that I'm sure we're getting to later.
Yeah, let's move the online section to a little later, because I think that would be kind of how we can flow to it, because there was some interesting issues and weird game like choices in the design of the online stuff. So
yeah.
Just broad strokes, I'm actually very impressed. Like Gunnar said, it's very approachable. This like Forza, I was always kind of intimidated by it. This game is very approachable for Anybody that loves cars
Any
as much
level.
as like Gunner was saying, like you can tune the tire pressure of your cars, or you can go in the menu and go, I want to make my car an S rank, and you just hit the button and spend your money, and it's like perfect. So I think that like that kind of level to the game is like what makes it very special. I do think that it is very it is a car game. So if you don't love cars like me, you're missing something of like I think we were talking about when we were playing Gunner, but it's like I'm just driving a car and I don't care what car it is. So like my progression is like, okay, I could get like a cooler looking McLaren, I guess, but I don't know. Like I don't really care. So like that was like a hard thing for me to get past until I got the DeLorean, and now we're fucking set.
Yeah.
But then also I think that you have to love driving, and it feels great. The gameplay is awesome, but you are driving in an open world to a mission to then drive more, to then finish the mission and drive more, to then to a new place to drive more. And that's like the loop. The loop is just driving to drive to drive to drive. And it's like, yeah, okay. But I also like after 6 hours, like I think I got what this game is, and it's great. But if I don't want to drive, I'm not going to touch this game. So it's like a weird, you have to be in that space, I guess, if that's, I don't know. That's kind of how I felt. There's not a lot of variety, which, sounds stupid because it's a racing game, but that is a weird.
Forza Horizon has added weird fun. I mean, we kind of mentioned it in the pre-show. There's a battle royale.
Mm-hmm.
Hot Wheels always takes their turn, and they add in their tracks with loop-de-loops.
Yeah.
So weird stuff might be coming.
Which I hope it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's my broad strokes. Like I think it's great, but you have to be in the mood for what it is, and that is what it is. It's not going to surprise you. I think like in terms of gameplay functionality and what it's doing. It's just going to be what it is. So yeah, I guess we can talk a little bit about this online fun stuff that we had to go through. Yeah. Like Gunnar was saying, you have to basically invite someone to your convoy or join someone's convoy. And I think we've talked about it on the show, but when we were playing a lot of the Halo Master Chief Collection and how like finicky joining somebody on that was, it felt a lot like that.
Of fuck.
Where like Gunnar and I would join, and then it would like be just like someone's circle was spinning and loading into the server, and like no one ever joined. And we like backed out and closed the game and did a bunch of that stuff till we finally got in a convoy. Like
there's always those issues though, I feel.
Yeah.
But except for Back 4 Blood, that was like the first time we never had issues with all of us connecting. That was the craziest thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's always a lobby issue with Master Chief Collection. I guarantee. I mean, maybe not Infinite because Infinite's polished, but
yeah. Ted and I joined Infinite really easily last night or 2 nights ago.
Yeah. Sorry. No, but I'm just continue with any other issues.
Yeah, and then
but was the connection fine? Like once you guys.
Yeah, I think we had a really stable connection, never had any drops or anything. I think the weird part, though, of what it was we would then go and, like, do an event. And so really what it is one of us has to drive to the event. So Gunnar would drive to the event, and I would drive, like, in a circle. And then, because, that's what I'm doing. But then we joined a game where we competed with, like, another group of people against computers. And, like, you, like, team raced against computers. And the round ended, and we had to drive to the next race. It didn't just load in the next race. So there was 3 races in this like racing package, and we had to finish a race and then drive to the next race to initiate the next race.
That was a really weird design choice by them.
So
I will say.
But then you and I played the second one on our own, and we never had to do that. We just loaded into the next races.
That was literally the best part about it.
It made no sense. It was the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So they introduced this new thing called Horizon Tour, and it's supposed to be like a really like casual racing experience, but I think they made it like too casual in that like you do your race and like you finish and whatever, and in this mode you're on a team competing against a team of AI, so it's 6 online co-op people and then 6 AI, and then for whatever reason I think they think you're gonna like talk to your friends more or like hang out and as you're driving to the next race, which is like 4 or 5 miles away, which just never happens because I don't know if Jake you saw it. All anyone ever does is yeet their cars off a hill, and like that's pretty much it. No one really talks at all. So that's something that it was a really strange design choice.
It was very weird. Yeah. Okay, so now we've covered Gunnar. I want to hear what makes this game the best Forza game. Besides just it being more approachable, like what out of it makes it best for you? Someone that's like
looks
altering.
looks pretty nice.
Right, it is pretty.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Okay, so I have. Okay. Backing up a little bit. I think it's like broken down into like segments of the game and how they just keep improving them.
Okay.
The cars, for example. I remember reading or watching that they tweaked all the cars and how they drive, and like the models and what they do, such in a way that it feels much more realistic. Um, and I play on like simulation and like traction control off, all the assists off, none of that.
Oh, not only do you do that, Gunner, you posted on your Instagram you changing the difficulty to like the highest level difficulty.
I will talk about that
Yeah,
later.
that
But
was
yes, I do play on the
absurd.
highest difficulty. Um, but yeah, it's just like all these little things that I would play in like Forza Horizon 4 and be like, man, I wish they did this. Man, I wish they did that. Man, they should do like this tiny thing. They did all of those things. I
Wow.
don't know how they got people to tell them these things, but they did all these things.
So surveys.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't
Those
survey
Microsoft
me.
surveys.
I could have told them everything. I have a whole list here. But on top of that, the suspension and braking is all different. The sound is all different. Sorry,
No,
that's
you're fine.
Junie. um, the sound is all different, which is a really big undertaking.
Hmm.
Since Forza Motorsport 2 and like all through them, they've had like more or less the same cars. They add cars here and there, but the sounds of every car are like mostly the same. Like they'll upgrade the sound file or get a different one. Um, One of my favorite cars, the Honda NSX-R GT, like I know how that sounds because I've been playing it since Forza Motorsport 2. And then I get to Horizon and I like rev the engine. I'm like, holy shit! Like this sounds incredible. Like this
Hmm.
sounds exactly like if I was standing there listening to it. Like this is what it would sound like, not just some muffled like. Not to throw them under the bus, Gran Turismo has even worse sounds. Um, Another thing that they did with mixed results, but I think overall good results, is the whole story system. I know that they were gonna try and
Hmm.
implement a campaign, and so far I haven't done enough of them. Um, but the ones that I have done are really, really good. Um, just you would think like Jake said, you just drive to the story. The story involves driving, and then you drive to the next one, and that's more or less how it is. But the ones I've done so far are just like so enriched in Mexican culture, which is a huge surprise. That I've just blown away so far. So the first one I did was about the Vacho, which James probably know what this is, but it's like the Mexican word or term for a Volkswagen Beetle,
Hmm.
and they have like a whole like 15-part story about like how the Vacho is like you find like
Wait, there's a
one.
15-part story? I've only played the first mission.
I've
Oh
only put
shit.
the first mission of
No,
this one
that
too.
Yeah.
well, you like do different things. So,
Okay.
the girl Alejandra, is the one who fixes all of your cars. Actually, um, she like finds her Papa Fernando's Vacho like in a barn, which is a recurring theme of the game. You find barn finds and they get fixed. And then she's like, "Wow, I'm discovering that he like did this to do like Baja racing and like all this." And you finish the story. Obviously, you get the car, but like that was really cool. And now I'm doing another story that's you're chasing after this um you're chasing after these statues that are like thousands of years old, and like you're supposed to like take pictures of them, and it's like their intro into like a photo mode or something.
Hmm.
um but it's like following this like work of Mexican fiction or something. So they did a really good job on implementing that. um because that's all I played today was like these story missions because I finally had time.
Hmm.
um so that was really cool to see because the stories in Horizon 4 were very much like, you're like a stunt man, like yeet your car off of this hill, or like go like 200 miles an hour, which is like, it's like fine, but it's like kind of boring. There's like nothing to it. It is a little dry, but these
Hmm.
stories are just really interesting. Um, Trying to think what else. Yeah, I think what else makes this nice is that I've been playing Horizon 4 since 2018, and Forza Horizon 5 now. It's like Mexico. It's like vibrant and beautiful, full of life. Whereas 4, it takes place in the UK. And that was also when they unveiled their season system. So they're like, wow, it's like you can have summer, winter, spring, and fall. And it's like, oh, this is so cool. But like, I don't know if somebody didn't tell them this, but
It rains a
the
lot in
UK gets rain in all
Yeah.
of those seasons. So it's pretty much just wet all the time and kind of dreary.
It's felt like the UK here for the past week. That's what I'll say.
Honestly, I love it. So I'm complaining about it right now, but that's my favorite kind of weather.
True.
I'm trying to think of what else we can say about it,
Well-
like kind of broad strokes.
So I would like to kind of say something about a new person playing Forza that this game I think doesn't do well. I don't think
Okay.
this game explains missions or what these icons are on your map well at all.
True. I kind of just got like thrown into it, and I was like, okay, I guess that's a speed trap. Oh, I needed to go 200 miles there. Oh crap. Well, turn around.
Yeah.
It's just
That-
like populated, and I was like, okay, what do
Yeah,
I do?
I would so agree. Actually,
Yeah.
I am almost surprised to agree.
Yeah.
Because for like for people listening that haven't seen it, you like trigger a story mission that then you have to go put up basically like a festival center for this like area of Mexico. So
Horizon Festival.
a Horizon Festival Center, like they're doing like more races in this part of Mexico is like essentially what you do. So you drive to that area and you like do a small mission and set up this area that then populates like a bunch of races and things to do. It really doesn't like go, okay, so this icon is a speed trap and what this icon does. And like, so you just kind of like Gunner and I were playing. It's like, okay, so you see this one. And I was like, Gunner, I don't know what icon means what. I know that the flag means racing and that's all I know. So like, I think that like, that's like a really big, I wouldn't say like it hinders the experience because you just go pick something and you drive your car. But like when you're looking for specific things to unlock a car, it's like nonsense. So that was a thing that I struggled with.
I would 100% agree.
Yeah.
It's not something I expected to happen, like me not being able to find something, but like the idea is the whole point of the progression, I know Ted asked about this. The whole point of the game is that you unlock the first festival, right? Horizon 3 had the very similar model where you unlock different sites around the map.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Horizon Festival is like a reoccurring theme, right?
Horizon 4, there was
Which-
only one festival on the map, and it was like one location. That's where it was. But the idea is you get accolade points and you unlock more festival sites, and then you get more accolade points and you unlock like stories in these particular sites.
Mhm.
And so the Vacho one is a perfect example because I'm like, this one sounds super cool. I want to do this. Like, I think me being a car guy, Volkswagen Bug, Mexico, that sounds cool. And I pressed it, and it's just like, cool, you unlocked it, and it, like, that was it. It didn't tell me where it was.
No.
I thought, oh, maybe they're just gonna like tell me about the first mission later or something. Because I did the first mission, and I'm like, okay, maybe they'll just like tell me later. And then I literally did the entire festival playlist, which Jake knows what that is now.
Mhm.
And I'm like, where is this mission? Like, it's not here. And then I like had to go into the map and like sort the map by stories. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's literally like here.
Yeah.
But
Well,
the
and-
map is so riddled with shit, you can't see it.
There will be like moments where you'll go and join like a race and you'll do a race and it will be part of like a championship. So you do like 3 races and you earn points and like a Mario Kart Grand Prix, right? Like you do your 4 races. But you got to drive to each of these races to go do. It maybe it does and it doesn't tell you what it looks like. It doesn't highlight the next race very well. So you just drive to another race and it's like you're in a championship. Do you want to quit your championship and start this race? And you're like, I don't know where's my next race? I don't know where I'm supposed to go. So yeah, I guess I do because I want to just do this event. So I think that's like a big thing that like it doesn't track stuff very well.
It doesn't have a good GPS system.
No.
No.
Well, it has a great GPS system if you tell it where you want to go. But
So if you okay, got you.
if
Yeah,
you know
knew
where
you
you're
want to
going,
go,
it's fantastic.
Yeah,
Um,
but it should just automatically populate. I mean,
It
this
should.
sounds like a really easy fix. Like if you're doing a
Yeah.
3-part race, it's just
It should just tell you where to
automatically
go.
marker you.
Yeah.
to
it
the next
does show the like if you start a championship and then it shows on the map like the 3 locations.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, the map. This kind of goes. It's like a double-edged sword. The map is huge now, but now the map is huge. So
Mhm.
finding that one icon that has changed color that is your next race is impossible, just
Yeah.
because the map is massive.
Yeah.
So
So it's,
That
Yeah,
is
there
one
should
of
just
its
be like some,
downfalls.
like how it has the. Well, we're talking about something different, but you know how it has the racing lines.
mhm.
It
Yes,
just
yeah,
needs
yeah,
that for GPS, basically, to guide you to your
exactly.
next location.
Yeah. It like expects you to find it and pick it out, and then it's just weird.
Yeah.
But that's
Um,
definitely one of the shortcomings. I'm looking at this now. I have more because I like the game so much and because they did such a good job. I have so many more bad things to talk about than good things.
Well,
Not
let's
saying the game is bad, but
what are some of your critiques? What are some of your complaints?
the UI is awful.
Mm.
I know we talked about that a little bit, but you guys as gamers might understand this a little bit more, like where I'm coming from. Since Forza Motorsport 2, the whole UI and when you're tuning your car, when you're picking a wheel, whatever, has been like a left to right thing. That's just like what it is. You scroll left, you scroll right, and like changing it up wouldn't make it a big deal, right? But what you? Um, but they changed it, and now it's like a grid instead of like on the bottom it scrolls. But for so long, like you would scroll left or right to pick whatever you wanted, or you'd like hit the bumper to scroll through it really fast, and it just messes everything up. Because, if I want to compare two wheels and see how they look on my car, I could just like, without looking at my controller, press left or right, left, right, right, right. But now I have to like go down the menu up and down to find the wheel that I want. Like I scroll like do, and then have to go like that. That is like a small thing that you wouldn't have expected to make a huge deal.
Mhm.
Actually is a really big deal.
Hmm.
It just makes it not as easy. And what makes it even worse is that the right bumper still scrolls all the way at the bottom. But I don't know. They messed the whole thing up.
It's one of those they had to be different for different sake.
Yep, it's
I
a
think
sequel.
Yeah.
I think they did it just because the game. I will admit the game feels and looks and performs very similar to the last game.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So they probably had to do something different. Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, they have a formula and it works. That's kind of why I love it. But they definitely had to change something to make it look different. I feel that might be why.
Yeah.
Two more things. I think big things. Maybe three. The AI is a lot different. I used to play on Unbeatable, and I still do, but the AI is like they turned it up to 11. It's like impossible. Unbeatable is actually unbeatable.
Hmm.
Like they'll get like a perfect launch that I can't even do. And like it's they need to do some tuning there, but I won't spend too much time on it because it's AI. There's not much more I could talk about.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is very hard.
the pacing of the game is off. And I've seen this a lot. It's way fast and it just like throws everything up at you. So like I'm technically like done with the game. I'm in the Hall of Fame and I'm like I think it took me like a couple of hours. But it's just like, oh, you all for another throwing it under there, the Vacho story, like I wanted to do that. But I kept unlocking so much more stuff that I like never got to it because it's like, oh, you're doing this now, or you're doing this now, you're doing this now, and it's just like, Jesus. And then your whole map just has a ton of stuff on it, and you can't even keep up. And then when you want to go back to that story, like Jake said, you can't find it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the last thing, which is like big for me and maybe big for a couple of us, is that the music really took a dive.
Yeah.
The music was really not good.
The stations are bad.
The stations are not good.
What's hurting them probably is a lot of the copyright issues with music. In the past, I feel like it was way easy. Now it's like, ooh,
That
you gotta
might
be
have been
careful
it.
what music you picking. So,
Yeah,
I even
it's-
made a list of like songs that were super awesome in Forza Horizon 4 and songs that are okay in Horizon 5. And it's not even that long. I could read some of it for you if you want, but like,
I think you're right though with the music being just kind of lackluster. That's like half what you do is listen to music. So I was putting on records and like playing different music just on my phone, like while
play
playing
your own
this game.
music.
Yeah,
but
yeah, that might be one of these things where they just are giving up and they see the statistics and go, everyone just turns their music off after 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, you would think, but then they get Dua Lipa. The you want me?
What?
I want you.
They they're contractually obligated to put that
That's
song
like
on.
a
They
huge
have to.
song.
They're
I'm
contractually
sure.
obligated.
There's like 4 songs they just have to do because they're hits now.
They had Beastie Boys
It's fine.
Intergalactic. I was driving out and I was like, this is good
Oh, yeah,
music.
that's
And
good.
then every other song
was
that played
good.
was not.
Yeah.
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 I would agree. Yeah, no, they definitely didn't do the best job on the music, and I am sad to hear that.
You know,
Yeah.
they threw all the money into the beauty and the atmosphere, and boy, I mean,
It's so beautiful.
I don't know how it's running on your systems, but I got a 3080 and it looks crystal clear.
So,
It's like I'm driving in the car.
I'm playing on a Series S and it looks great. Like
I feel like for we always talk about Series S, like it sounds like things look great there, like because it's optimized probably perfectly for that system. Which, again, like I mean, you don't need 4K, and I mean I don't even have 4K. I have 2K monitors, so it still looks great.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're running a 4K, right? Because you have a 4K TV.
But the Series S doesn't do 4K.
Oh, does it?
No.
It does 2K though, right?
Yeah.
How does that work for your 4K TV?
James, you are asking the wrong person on that question.
We should be asking you, James.
I don't know how that works. Is it like super sample? And I don't know.
Oh, it double super samples, James.
It just
Probably just
it just multiplies it by 2 and you get 4K.
Yeah, it just says it's in 2K. I'm like, nice.
The Series X does 4K though. Right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But Ted, do you have a 4K TV?
Yes, sir.
How does
you gotta watch it.
How does Forza eventually look? You told us no.
Yeah, it's eventually gonna look great. Don't you worry.
Ted, do you have questions for Gunner and maybe us, but mainly Gunner?
Do you care?
I do.
Okay, if you don't.
I do care. Is Toyota in the game?
They are.
Oh yeah, Toyota.
Okay.
You get a Supra.
Yeah.
You get the new
It's the
Supra.
first car.
Yeah.
No, that was contentious. Toyota at one point pulled out of racing games.
It was actually a really big deal in Horizon 4. Horizon 4 did not launch with any Toyota cars.
Wow. Okay.
Not a single car. Like they had like a couple of
Toyota.
trucks that were labeled as like something else, and then like mid-cycle, like I think they sent like an update to your in-game mailbox and like made an Instagram post, and they're like, Toyota's back. And like the next event,
We paid
like,
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the official response from Toyota is that they didn't want their cars to be displayed in like a street racing manner, and thinking that that might have put them in a bad light. But I think they finally just caved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's funny.
I don't know
how's the street racing scene for Toyotas nowadays?
Yeah, I know, right? It's I mean that it really helps them sell more cars, if anything. Like
Exactly.
Is Porsche in the game?
They are.
Yes.
One of the first cars that I got, because I only bought the welcome pack, which gives you cars.
The two most annoying nitpicky companies. You get them first, right away, right in front of you. Okay.
I think to this day, maybe they're in Gran Turismo now, but they weren't in Gran Turismo for a really long time.
Porsche's picky.
Really, really long time. But they have been in Forza for a while.
Oh, cool.
That's good.
Which is good.
And how do they all crash? How do the physics look? Because that is the past 20 years. The ongoing thing is graphics get better. These companies don't want to show off their vehicles getting hurt. Basically,
it all looks.
This is a huge problem.
As a man that has run into many a walls in Forza, you don't get like crazy damage.
It's like GTA crashing. That's what I'd say. It's not. It's nothing like real.
It's not like Burnout or anything either.
Yeah. I've crashed a Toyota in real life, so I'll crash Toyota in this game, and we'll see how they compare.
Yeah, you'll be disappointed.
Okay. Yeah,
me too, Ted. I think we've all crashed Toyotas here.
I've never crashed a Toyota. Knock on wood.
Not yet. You got your
Toyota. Yeah, I do have a Toyota though. Any other questions besides what car manufacturers are in the game?
Well, so I haven't played a racing game in the past like 5 years, and it's because the new, air quotes, the new Need for Speed games, while their live action cutscenes are amazing,
awful,
and that Need for Speed reboot I think is something special.
Remember that movie, Ted, with Aaron Paul?
Yeah. I vaguely remember that. But the actual games have been really lackluster because it's kind of this open world where they just set you down and they throw out a whole bunch of objectives and they say, just drive, just have some fun. And I'm always like, but like, why am I driving? So to hear that there's a story mission is really good. I'm really interested in Gunner, the reason you put 900 hours into Horizon 4, like daily quests, multiplayer stuff. We were chatting about it earlier, ranking up against your friends. Like, are the multiplayer chops really there for me to want to, assuming a group of friends of mine or so are into this, to just pop in every now and again and do the things,
Mhm.
Do you think it's got longevity?
I think that's one of the best perks actually, is its
Okay.
longevity.
Yeah.
Playground Games, who makes Horizon, they supported Forza Horizon 4 with updates and new cars until 6 months before Horizon 5's launch, which is pretty impressive considering the game came out in 2018. They constantly release new cars and updates to the game. There's also a lot of replay value in they have a weekly like playlist of quests you can do. That's
Yeah.
actually how Jake got the DeLorean. It's that's you have to do a certain number of weekly quests until you pass the marker, and then you can claim the DeLorean.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fun things like that. If you just want the cars, or you just want to do a casual race. If you want to do, they even have like all these different. I think they call them playground games or something like that. The more arcadey, like capture the flag,
Mm.
Okay.
like all the different fun Mario Kart style. Like remember
Yeah.
the Mario Kart arcade style games. Infection is another one. They
Just
have a
okay, the goofy fun stuff.
they
Yeah.
have goofy fun stuff like that. Yeah, I think there's a lot of replay value, and they really support the game and
Yeah.
keep it fresh over
Okay.
a while.
Speaking of goofy fun stuff, um, this is the first time ever where a Forza Horizon, the fun arcade little brother to Forza Motorsport, has been out in a world where Forza Motorsport is not available for sale. Um,
Wow,
Hmm.
that's a good
this is
point. I didn't even
this is
think
the
about
first
that.
this is the first time this has ever happened, where we only have the arcadey little brother. Are you missing simulation motorsports right now? Like you're the only one that I know who could stack up in a simulation car game. And now the arguably the best one is you can't even buy it. It's not on Game Pass. It's not for sale.
Not
Are
the,
you?
the best one. What do you mean? There's real car sims out there.
I think
You're
it
right.
is the best one,
Um,
personally.
Ah,
but like, have you noticed anything? Do you feel is it lacking in the actual simulation part? Because Forza Horizon was or Forza is a simulator, a car simulator, and Horizon was the goofy, fun kind of for everybody version.
Yeah,
Um, so like, do you feel that it's lacking in the simulator department?
I don't think
I,
so. I would rather
okay,
play
that's
this
good.
than any sim game or any of the Forza Sim ones, just
But
because the freedom is just awesome. Like you can
yeah,
just drive your car wherever you want. You're not going to get the same taste in Mexico driving on a closed circuit.
right.
Um, and I feel like at this point, um, Horizon is like I think they've probably already done it, but they're like kind of set to take over the motorsport
Oh
part.
yeah.
That's what a lot of people are concerned about is that the actual racing simulator, because it's so niche and high strung and only for the best of the best,
Yeah.
it will just fall to the wayside because Horizon's just accessible at the end of the day.
Yeah. This game
I
got 4 million
eh,
players in a day and a half.
yeah,
Yeah,
probably
I
the
doubt
majority.
that they'll have that problem. I
yeah,
think one the fan base is there, and it's looking at the engine, like it's easy enough for them to make a Forza Motorsport out of this game.
yeah.
It's not hard. Um they could just pretty much use the same cars. Like all
Mhm.
the stuff from the sim game is there.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
tuning is all the same. All the cars are the same. Like there's not that many differences.
Okay.
Um,
Really?
Other people might tell you that there are. I'm
Yeah.
sure, if you Google Motorsport versus Horizon, like someone put like a 40-minute YouTube video on it. But
How
Yeah.
dare they?
even to me, who is like pretty good at the game, like I wouldn't see any differences.
Okay, that's good.
Nice.
So Gunnar, I want to know just from you because I feel like we've kind of covered our Forza knowledge to an extent. What are your final thoughts on Forza 5? And then we'll kind of say goodbye.
Okay. Um, I think it's the best one that they made.
Mm.
And I think it is easily the best racing game out there right now. Unless you really enjoy Sonic racing for some reason.
There
like I
we
know
go.
somebody does.
That guy down there.
There it is.
It's a really good game.
How many times has your character in this game said, "Gotta go fast"?
Listen, I had a whole bit about can you drive a boat, can you drive a plane, and then I forgot the crew exists.
Oh yeah,
which is a whole game where you can do that. And
they
my
made
whole
a
joke
sequel
fell
to that
apart.
game, Ted.
Why?
Actually,
Anyway.
one of the missions in Forza Horizon 5 is you drive a party float pinata thing, and you yeet it into a canyon, and it's a very strange thing.
You know what? I'll take it. Yeah, I'm in.
But I think the game as a whole is gonna do great. I think it is fantastic. They did an absolutely great job, and I think that most of the stuff that we talked about that we don't like, with the exception of the music, will probably be ironed out in the next couple of things.
Very easy stuff to fix.
And I always thought these games, to bounce off of music, they just needed to integrate Spotify and Apple Music.
That would be amazing.
I don't know why they don't. It's so bad.
I'm
sure
contract.
It's gotta be an artist license thing.
I'm sure there's legal and licensing reasons as to why, but I've always just wondered why not just do it and just let the people pick their music, because you're right. Bad music is just kind of like bleh, and it just it's kind of a bummer, but it's too expensive to not make it a bummer. So
You ever drive your car and listen to bad music? No, me neither.
That's a really good point.
No, me neither.
So,
well, Gunner, thank you so much for talking Forza. Do you have any last thing you need to say? Get off your chest.
Yeah, I think one last thing is that they really did a good job making the game accessible for everyone. That is what is going to win them all the money.
Yeah, if I can say anything, is that I think everyone playing video games that has Game Pass should at least play the first 15 minutes of this game.
Yeah. It's like if you're looking for a race, this is the game.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a Series X and a 4K display, because
fucking
that'll look even better.
No, it's
it looks really good.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Gunner, so much for joining us and reviewing Forza Horizon 5. We've been talking about this for a long time, and you did it. Thank you guys so much for watching the 78th episode of the Sideescape Gaming Podcast. Gunner will be on the show for next week as well, so we will see you next week.